New at 10, imagine that you're dealing with a medical emergency or something like a fire. You call 911 and the first responders say, sorry, we can't get to you. That's been the reality for 8 families in Walker County. Conditions on the Old Taylors Ferry Road so bad this month that the volunteer fire department told neighbors they wouldn't be able to reach them.
Wow. And your reporter Brady Talbert is digging into this issue. Brady, neighbors say they've been getting the cold shoulder from the county too.
Yeah, that's right, Brittany, Steve. When neighbors along Taylor's Ferry Road moved to the area, they didn't expect the city life, but they did believe firefighters would be able to reach them, something that has been put in jeopardy. The potholes here on Old Taylor's Ferry Road are not only an eyesore, but a problem Calvin Osborne must face every day.
We're second-class citizens down here. My wife and I a few years ago bought 4Runners just because we knew they would hopefully get down the road. But when the road got so bad this past week, it was impassable.
Osborne says after a lot of rain turned the road to muck with what he describes as 20-inch deep trenches, one of his neighbors got stuck.
It was just down to clay in the mud. I tried to hook up and pull her out with a rope. My vehicle just would slide.
Using a winch, they finally got the car out. But if it were a fire truck, it wouldn't have been so easy.
And that's our biggest fear is we call and we need medical services or the police. They're not going to be able to get down to us.
The Tutwiler Volunteer Fire Department telling neighbors here they can't reach them during an emergency because of the road's condition. A concern for Osborne, who recently suffered a serious knee injury which led to a blood clot.
If it happened again, the roads like that, I could possibly lose my leg or my life.
That's why he's been reaching out to his Walker County Commissioner, Jim Borden. The problem, he's been messaging him, but he hasn't heard back for months.
No response, and every neighbor would tell you that.
These are letters obtained by WBRC that neighbors wrote to the commissioner, one calling the road hazardous, another calling the road unacceptable, and one neighbor claiming the community is tired of unanswered calls. So we picked up the phone. I was reaching out to see if you've heard any of these complaints. Within minutes, I heard back, which got us here, face to face with Commissioner Borden. A resident showed me his phone where he texted since April 2024, it's been over a year without a response. You have other residents who have written letters who tell me that they haven't got a response. They say they're getting crickets. What do you want to say to them?
Well, my day, I have a full day every day.
Borden says he works full-time as a commissioner, adding he gets up to 20 calls a day.
With the volume of calls that a lot of times come in, it's hard to respond to each individual.
But the commissioner tells me he sees all of them. If he doesn't pick up, he says to shoot him a message, leave a voicemail, or call the commission office directly. He tells me he has spoken personally with the chief of the Tutwiler Fire Department.
The weather was not cooperating back at that time, but as soon as I was able, I told him I would get in there and try to do a temporary repair.
And you said this is what they did after we called?
Correct.
Yesterday. Repairs we witnessed just a day after WBRC called the commissioner. Gravel was spread along a portion of the road. But this is not an overnight fix. Large logging trucks frequent this area. Weather, staffing limitations, and the budget are also hurdles. Additionally, the county engineer telling me the road is old, so asphalt is out of the question.
It started out as a road for mining, and now they use it to get to the river, and it's never been built to any kind of standards.
Despite this, Commissioner Borden says as a former firefighter himself, he understands how important emergency response is, pledging to fix some of the worst spots of this road so EMA and fire can respond, something neighbors are banking on. Can I ask you what it feels like to know that it took me calling one time for them to do that?
Fox 6 is on your side. Absolutely. If you hadn't got involved, I would still be calling and messaging every day.
Now, the commissioner did tell me the day that gravel was added to the road was already planned before I gave him that phone call. He also says he will make sure the road is safe and passable for all of the 8 families that do call this area home.